welcome to Substack.coach. Today we're going to start talking about your settings and what needs to be done before you launch your Substack. Alright, so let's get started. And we're going to start with talking about the welcome page of your publication. So the welcome page is your first impression to anyone who comes across your Substack from the Substack app or the Substack website. So if you import emails of people you know or an existing email list, those people will never see your welcome page because you're already importing them. Whereas people who come across your website on Substack, they will see this page. So your welcome page is important for people who come across your Substack from the Substack website or the Reader app. This will be their first impressions of your page. So you want to have a nice graphic at the top, a brief description, and then you will have this box here. Now, this box is inviting people to subscribe to your website, and they'll be able to input their email address. Substack's generic default phrase underneath is no thanks. And personally, I don't really care for that. I much prefer it to say something more inviting and not an automatic rejection of subscribing. Now, underneath, I'll show you how to change that in a sec, but underneath, you'll see here that I have what's called a recommendations blurb, which I've covered in another video. And this recommendations blurb, you can have up to 3 of them on your site across the bottom. It's not 100%, like, Substack's fairly new still, so sometimes their coding is not 100%. Like this one, you can see it kind of blurs into the bottom phrase, and it cuts off randomly. So I can't edit someone else's recommendation blurb, but obviously this one is a little bit too long for the space here. So a shorter recommendation blurb, if you write any for someone, shorter one would be nicer so that it fits nicely on the welcome page, since Substack doesn't automatically cut it down. So Substack doesn't allow a shorter recommendation blurb is nice because Substack doesn't allow the owner of the site to cut it down. So let's take a look at how to change the settings so that this will look the way you want it to look. So going back into our settings here, the publication name shows up, and this is whatever it is that you've put that will be at the top. You entered it in when you started your publication, and you can change this at any time. As soon as you change it here, it automatically changes up at the top here, and it automatically changes on your welcome page. The only thing that it will not change is your actual URL. That has to be changed in a separate area. Then the next thing that shows up is your short description, and finally the cover photo. So this image I like to use, they recommend 600 by 600 pixels, and that is what I like to use on mine. It fits really nicely, and the main thing about the cover image is that it's something that really does a good job of representing your publication and what you want your publication to stand for, what you will be publishing on your publication. So let's look at that one phrase. So that one phrase that usually says no thanks, you'll find under publication details. And then scrolling down, opt out message on the welcome page. So this is where it is, and you can see mine says take a look first. I changed it to that. You could change it to check it out first, or basically anything you want. You can even leave it as no thanks, that's fine. It just depends on what kind of message you want to send to your potential readers. So that's everything for today.